So, all right, sounds good. Everything's in place. All right. You all set?
Very nice shirt today, Philip.
Oh, thank you. You know, once in a while we got to put one on, clean it up. Better than the T-shirt.
Yeah,
Okay. You ready for a countdown?
we are.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, friends. Welcome to The Jersey Alchemist. I'm your host, Dr. John Gerard Galucci.
And I'm Philip D'Angelo.
What's
up?
happening, man?
Not much. Another spring Jersey day.
Yeah, the rain is gone. A little chilly last night, but it's okay.
Yeah. I noticed the plants in the, we have perennials.
The flower
The
beds.
flower beds, thank you. They just started peaking up right now. I mean, it just seems like in Jersey we don't have really a spring anymore. We definitely get a fall. Winter is winter, summer is summer, no joke. But spring, it just goes. I'm telling you, in a couple weeks it'll just be 90.
It's going to be sweltering. You're absolutely right.
It will go from 0 to 100. So
Yep.
that's the way it is in Jersey. Not too much of springtime. I know baseball season. I remember one day the Yankees opened up and it was snowing. Not this year, but in years past. You know, that's why baseball players, a few of them come from Jersey.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Why not?
California, they play year round. Everywhere out west,
Right.
Florida, down south, Mexico.
Although I wonder how many are actually in the major leagues from the Dominican Republic. I bet you there's a load.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
I'm not quite sure why or how that is, but it seems to be true, don't you think?
Canadians with hockey. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
good.
Right.
Before we go any further, can I ask you what's going on with our friend back here?
Bones, he looks fabulous, doesn't he? What do you think, gang? He's all dressed up to the nines. Let me tell you what's behind this next iteration of Bonesy. Whenever I express to him that I'm enamored by somebody or I really, really respect somebody on the internet, YouTube videos, whatnot, he demeans me. He says, he goes, "Can't you look within, doctor? You're always looking to someone else." Oh my God, really? Okay, fine, right. Until the day I told him about that segment in my book, My Life with God, this book right here.
Great book.
And I write a segment on the American indigenous person, a spectacular individual named Russell Means. I mean, everything about Russell Means is just everything that I love. And I says, all right, get Bones, look him up. Come on, you think you want to demean me? Look him up. Well, guess what? It was like Bones stepping into quicksand. That's it. Now he's all about Russell Means. He's all about the cause. Russell Means was a great actor, a great activist for American indigenous peoples and indigenous peoples all over the world. So Bones said, today I'm going to do the Russell Means thing, and today I'm going to dress as an Indian chief. And when I asked him, I says, well, isn't it just a little bit too much? Because Russell Means was an American Indian, but I'm not so sure he was the chief of a tribe. And he said, look, he goes, this is who I am. Okay, all right, fair enough.
It's his opinion. He's entitled to it, I guess. I mean, but to be on you like that, John.
Yeah, yeah, he goes.
What?
We heard you.
What? My headdress and my breastplate have nothing to do with Russell Means or whoever you revere on the internet.
Really?
This is just who I am.
Okay.
So we
All right, okay.
just a coincidence.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, we get it.
Besides, Dr. Galucci, being an Indian chief is much more fun than being a pediatrician.
Oh, okay. All right, you're on. I can understand where you're coming from on that one.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wow, we took it right to you.
Yeah, so what, Beans, well, Bones, I chased my dog around the house and I call her Beans, and the B got stuck in my head and I went from Bones to Beans. Hey, Bones, I'm going to start calling you Beans pretty soon. All right, no, I won't. Listen, What happened this weekend? It was a significant moment for you and I both because we're both fight fans. You know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
What happened?
Tyson Fury fought, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
He
sure did.
good. Gypsy King.
The Gypsy King.
Gypsy King.
Thank you, John. Thank you for regarding me. Yes, Bulgy in the corner. I'll get by this. I want to bring up a topic that has me experiencing emotional highs and lows. That's right.
You're so dramatic.
Emotional highs and lows. No, and I don't mean drinking. Thank you. That doesn't work for me anymore anyway. Tends to go right through me.
No.
I was a big fan of Tyson Fury, the heavyweight boxing champion
Well, that's
of the
what I
world,
was
the
trying to-
lineal champ.
I was trying to set you up.
Just this past weekend, he fought his last fight.
I know.
He retired from the ranks of heavyweight boxing undefeated.
Yeah.
Only the second heavyweight in boxing history to retire undefeated.
That's true. You're right.
I don't know what to say.
What is there to say? He'll be back. He'll be back.
I'm a big Tyson Fury fan.
Well, you and me
He
both.
makes me laugh.
He makes me laugh too. Did you ever see him sing to his wife after he beats somebody right in the ring? He grabs that microphone and he sings. And he's not that bad. He's pretty good.
I mean, those suits he wears are unbelievable. Matching pants.
Go Gypsy King. Long live the Gypsy King.
Yes.
Tyson Fury.
Yes,
I'll miss you.
yeah, we will all miss him.
We're gonna see him.
We'll all miss him. It's, it is what it is, Bones, but don't fret. All right. So, but look, we went from Indian Chief to the Gypsy King.
Wow. Let's stay on that Indian chief subject, John.
Okay.
I mean, the woke media, the woke environment that we live in nowadays. The Yankees had a series played against the Cleveland, no longer called the Cleveland Indians.
What are they called?
They call the Cleveland Guardians because apparently calling them Cleveland Indians, cheering for them, rooting for them, supporting them was apparently anti-indigenous people. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that?
You personally.
Well, but I think I understand that question. That's the obvious question.
I think it's ridiculous.
Well, I would say it doesn't matter what I think at all. I think it matters, if they polled the hierarchy of a quorum of American indigenous tribes, and I say the hierarchy, I don't think you can, just poll a bunch of 13-year-olds because I'm not sure that you're going to get a pure, true, well thought out answer. But I've seen people interviewed on TV about the prospects of changing the logo and the name of the Washington Redskins.
Oh no, it's changed.
Yeah, well, this is going back about 3 or 4 years, and there were a bunch of people sitting watching a game at like an American Legion Hall, and they were indigenous Americans, and they're like, what? Why would you do that? To me, it's no pun, it's a feather in our cap. We love the Washington Redskins. Well, but the point is, my point, to your question is, that's like asking anybody else, well, what do you think of people watching The Sopranos and they say, those Americans that are Italian Americans, all they do is murder, rob, and rape and steal. They're the scourge of society. Well, it really matters by and large, what other people think. I mean, because you and I know better.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, when I see the Atlanta Braves, uh, Cleveland Indians, Washington Redskins, Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, but weren't the Blackhawks? How do I know? But I thought the Blackhawks were a tribe up
Yes,
in that area.
exactly. That's my point.
Well, then maybe somebody should go and ask whoever is still there for that tribe, assuming that they're still around, and say, hey, is this a problem?
I'd like to see what is derogatory towards indigenous. Maybe I'm just ignorant to it. I don't see what the listen. When we go on a pizza box or you go somewhere, there's always that drawing, that chubby Italian guy, right? He's
What
going like this or something.
he's yeah, with the mustache.
That's not offensive. I know about 50 uncles that are like that.
With the
They look
mustache, and it's
yeah,
usually his wife with the mustache.
yeah, right. I don't find any offense. I don't understand what the big deal is.
I don't know.
I know in sporting events, to me, they're cheering for their team. They're not booing them. They're not calling them names. They're
Yeah.
actually rooting them on, and it does keep the name of our ancestors, a lot of people's ancestors, Indians, in public light and a reminder.
Yeah,
And
right.
look at kids. Dad, talk to me about the Atlanta Braves and what are they doing? And
Well, you know what? Let me say this. There's that thought or that expression about when somebody gets censored on the internet or on social media. Well, you only get censored when you're over the target. And there's a lot to be said about that. If you were just, flapping your jaw and shooting your mouth off about something and you weren't over anybody's target, you're probably not going to get censored. But it's very interesting to think about who you can and cannot talk about. You can insult the Irish all day. I think the Irish don't give a. You can insult the Italians all day, and the Italians are, not going to be, gathering en masse to fight whatever you're saying about the Italians. They're just not. You're going to make Polish jokes. Make Polish jokes to Polish people, just kind of like, really, yeah, I next, whatever. But there are certain groups that you cannot talk about, you cannot poke and chide. And I think, well, Dave Chappelle recently, learned that there are certain people, certain groups, not necessarily ethnic groups or racial groups, that you're not allowed to talk about them. You're not allowed to have fun with them, or because they consider it to be having fun at their expense.
why is that? Why are people so sensitive? Like, you know what? The only people that can really hurt you are people that know you or people that you care about. When they say
Yeah.
something or call you a name, if Johnny on the street over there says something, calls me a name, I could care less what that guy thinks. So why do people get all offended? About stereotypes. Listen, a lot of things about stereotypes. Say what you want, but a lot of them, most of them are true.
Well, I think the problem is that there are certain people who, over the years, they've taken liberties with painting a group this way or painting a group that way, but for themselves. And there's no names named here because I ain't stupid, gang, right? If Hollywood wants to produce a movie about some learned, academic, well thought of psychologist whose patient is a bloodthirsty, psychopathic, murderous mobster, you can bet your ass the mobster's an Italian American. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't make him Russian. You know why? Because they're too fucking afraid of the Russians. Right. You make a movie with the murderous mobster being a Russian, guess what? The producer's going to be sleeping with a fish. That's right. But the Italians take it. And stupidly, they wear it like a badge. And who is the psychiatrist that's learned and well-dressed? You know who he is. He's of the same ilk of the people that made the movie. Can't talk about that now, can we? Because then you're over the target and you'll be censored, you'll be attacked, your life will be finished. Really.
So,
Okay.
so what happens when your group is targeted by a movie, a joke? I mean, how does your life change? I don't understand that.
Well, I think for me, because I was sensitive to this for a while, and my dad was big time. I wasn't as sensitive as my dad was about it. But let's think back at the hit television show Happy Days. Who was the roughneck? Oh, comes into the diner on a motorcycle, black leather or brown leather jacket. Hey, hey, Fonz, play me my favorite song. Wham! He slams the jukebox and it plays. Or who's meeting somebody out in the parking lot for a beating? It was Fonz. It was Arthur Fonzarelli. But who was the actor that played Arthur Fonzarelli? Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Right? So you're a little kid watching that show and everybody's laughing. And you gravitate toward the character on that show that you closely or more closely relate to. Maybe you don't relate to Richie Cunningham unless you're a ginger, blonde-haired Irish American. But if you're an Italian American kid growing up in Jersey, people you know something? I was on the medical executive committee of the hospital that I worked for decades. And it met once a month, and it was a big, huge table. I don't know, 25 people around the table, maybe 30, something like that. And the guy that sat next to me, no names, no positions, would just keep him completely anonymous. He was not of my ilk. And every damn month when he sat down, oh, hey, boombots, hey, oh. And like that's supposed to endear me to him or him to me. And I just sat there taking it. And I was like, really? Really? Like, yeah, like that's all you know of me and my people? I can't tell you what I think of you because you'd be so offended that I'd lose my job. But you're telling me every single time you sit next to me what you think of me and my people. And to me, that's the danger in stereotyping a group and putting it up there on look, Hollywood movies are all about brainwashing. And if you don't know that, it's true, right? But then it's television programming, and of course that term programming means that whatever the programming schedule is, they're just programming your brain, and that's the truth. So look, I tell you what, I used to play ice hockey as a kid. I think I was 13, and my home rink was in Ironbound, Newark, and it was a ice hockey rink underneath a big concrete stadium, and on the other side was a track and a big soccer stadium. And all the way down from where we lived in Essex County, all the way down to that area, we saw all sorts of liquor billboards and ads. And the closer we got into Newark, the ads turned into Colt 45 malt liquor. And I remember the commercials on TV. But they were targeting a certain cross-section of the American population. And if my memory serves me correctly, because I don't think I ever tasted Colt 45 malt liquor, what I thought it was just another brand of beer. And apparently it had more alcohol per volume than Schlitz or Budweiser or Schaefer or whatever. So let's take this segment of the population that's struggling and let's target them with this particular product that's got more alcohol per volume. And we're going to just play it over and over and over again. And on every available billboard and advertising space in that area, we're just going to inundate them and program them so that this is what they're drinking to keep them down and out from one generation to the next. And I think that's really the same thing. It's the same exact thing as broad brushing any particular ethnic or religious group. I mean, here, look, let's take it to religious groups. Whenever the Western mainstream media plays something to death over and over and over and over again, and they're colluding from Great Britain to Canada to the United States about who brought the Twin Towers down, I think they were still coming down. And CNN says Osama bin Laden. Really? 19 jihadists. And look what we found in the rubble. The fires were still burning, and they found Muhammad Atta's driver's license in the soot and the ashes on. What a bullshit story. What a bullshit story. And then it's weapons of mass destruction. And George Bush is saying, well, we didn't find any weapons under here. No, we looked over there. There were none over there. And he was making a big joke out of going into Iraq for weapons of mass destruction when both sides of the aisle, the Republicans and the Democrats, along with all the neocons, we had now our excuse to attack the Middle East, to attack Iraq. And how many people died? And it was all because they were planting in your mind, the consumer's mind, who the bad guys were, who the enemy was. And you know what? One day the truth, there's a lot of people already know the truth, but honestly, when the truth finally comes out in the final analysis, we'll find out that it was contrived. That what happened on 9/11 is not at all what you think happened if you were listening to the 9/11 Commission or the mainstream media, right? Or World Trade Center number 7. You know, some British reporter, I think 5 or 7 or 20 minutes before World Trade Center 7 comes crashing down in its own footprint, she pronounces that, and the World Trade Center has collapsed. Before it collapsed, never hit by a plane or a missile or a bomb. It was an office fire in a 42-story building, and it collapsed. Come on, people. Come on. Stop being so goddamn gullible. You wonder why the world's in a bag of shit right now? Because the scumbags that are perpetrating this they know that you're just going to take hook, line, and sinker whatever they want you to believe. I can go down another rabbit hole. I think I said it before. It's worth saying again. Your thoughts and your consciousness is creative. If they keep pumping all sorts of garbage and shit into your head, into your emotions, into your mind, all of a sudden, that's what you start putting out into the universe. And now, basically, you become their worker bees, and you create a terrible, horrible, fear-based world that's painting a certain religious group as terrorists. Whenever the mainstream media is telling you something in complete step with medias all over the West, just stop and think. Just stop and think what they've done to us before in the past. Just stop and think that maybe the story just isn't necessarily so. That's all. And that's what we get from the topic of stereotyping ethnic groups, because it's kind of like the top of the hill and then the snowball starts rolling. And then by the time you get to the bottom, it's a big, huge, snowball that's so big, no one knows what to do with it. And now it's here to stay.
Well, John, I mean, if the media is on this campaign to just mislead us, whatever their agenda is, I mean, where does society go? I mean, who are we supposed to listen to? I mean, because everybody, you literally, in the old days, the Cronkites of the world, they were as bland as you can be. Whatever their beliefs were politically, you really had no idea. They really gave the impression they were just reporting the news. But today, I mean, it seems like everybody, whether it's left or right, they have a direction that they're going to point you in. I mean, so where is somebody supposed to go? I mean, there's new social media channels that are coming up. There's new cable TV channels that are supposed to come up, and oh, they're different and they're honest. Is there any honesty anywhere?
No, I think right now we're in an age where the only place you're going to find honesty is when you look within and you've soul searched and you've prayed and you've meditated. You have got to clear the whole monkey chatter bullshit brain away. And it's incumbent upon everyone to learn how to pray and meditate. And that's the only place you're going to find honesty is within yourself. And Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. It's not here. It's not over there. Look here, look there. No, it's within you. It's within you by virtue of the God center that's in all of us. You're not going to find, look, you know something? Think of it this way, right? When we were kids, I think there were 3 major television networks, and then it was like PBS and Channel 13, whatever. And then after that, it was the UHS stations, right? They were the ones that came in from Mars, right? And it was never a good picture.
California,
you had to, get the rabbit ears and go like this and
Move
turn
around,
it, right?
kick the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And think about this. The only people that had the ability to reach millions of people with the clarity that they could muster up back in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, were the people that had enough money to do so. And where were they getting healed from? They were getting healed from the people who wanted to sell you the way the world was. They're not just selling you Mrs. Paul's fish sticks. They're not just selling you Betty Crocker products. No, they're selling you who you are. They're selling you who your neighbors are. They're selling you who your country is. And all they got to do when they want to change the country and change you, and the Rockefellers said you can change an entire nation in just 2 generations, they just turn the dial on what they're putting out for programming. And then they want to take all of those good people that loved home, mom, apple pie, baseball, the American dream, and now we're the terrorists. We're the terrorists because Don Lemon says the greatest threat now to humanity are white males. What's funny? Doesn't he live and cohabitate with, and I'll leave it at that, a white male? Are you terrorized every night, Don? I bet you're not. No.
Well,
So the media makes me sick, makes me want to vomit. And guess what? You know something? The politicians, the intel agencies, and the media are the scourge of humanity. The scourge, along with the global corporatists, because they've just got too much. They control everything.
well, now you have to include not just the print media, the news media, you have to include social media in there as well. I mean, what they do when they ban certain people, certain groups, and they allow other people and other groups, it just doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it. They're definitely funneling us in one direction. I mean, and it's blatantly obvious, and they don't even care that it's obvious anymore.
It is blatantly obvious. And I think their point is that they're making it intentionally making it obvious now. The cat's out of the bag, so to speak. The horse is out of the barn, and now they think they're running to the finish line. The only problem is there's 7.5 billion of us and a couple of thousand of them. Right. And I heard, I'm going to mention her name. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There was a truther YouTuber that I've been listening to for, I don't know, at least a half a dozen years or so. The Amazing Polly, Canadian woman. And when I started to really listen to her, years ago, I said, but how could any one person put together all of this info. And then, like, when I had time, I'm checking up on her, and like she was like spot on. Like this person has some kind of insider track to the shit that's really happening in the world. And I just now I forgot why I was talking about the
But somebody
amazing
who
Polly.
you've been following for 6 years.
Yeah, I just
I mean, and she was always on point with her messaging.
but what was the point before that? I go once my mind skips to a rabbit hole, I'm there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe, didn't they was she censored or she
Well,
disappeared?
she was, yeah, she's censored, right? And I think maybe that's why I was going toward the amazing Polly, is that the expression is true that if you're over the target, and that's a reference to a bomber that's going to drop a bomb, right? You get censored. You get censored, and it's book burning. Modern day book burning is refusing to publish a book if it's about ABC XYZ. It's taking somebody's YouTube channel down, and I'm not going to name the name of the platform, but I recently joined a certain truther's social media outlet platform, and the advertising was that you have the full unfettered ability here to speak your mind and say whatever you want, because that's what this platform is all about. So I was on for one day after waiting for 2 months, and somebody made a post, and there was a string of comments, and I commented kind of in step with the rest of the comments. I felt comfortable in that pool, so to speak. And I had said something about the New World Order and its plans to destroy a sovereign United States, because if the United States is a sovereign, strong nation like we've been for 200 and some odd years, the New World Order is not going to move forward. Well, guess what, Gangula? It got censored. It got shaded out and taken down. And it said it was out of the bounds of the community standards. I have never seen such hypocrisy. I was flabbergasted, because YouTube and Facebook and Instagram are more tolerant than this particular new platform. And I would say to the people who are perpetrating this particular platform that begins with a T, you better get your shit together. Otherwise, you're going to be branded as hoaxes, and man, it ain't going to be good for you.
So here we go. All this stuff, everybody's getting funneled in one direction. A new platform pops up, and everybody runs to it and says, oh, wow, it's going to be something special. We can finally have free speech. Nobody's going to be censored, bullied, pushed, or whatever. And it turns out not to be true.
Well, they were abundantly clear to me in 24 hours that the entire platform that they ran on, in other words, advertising, oh, we got this great social media network and you're not going to be censored. The first thing they did was censor me. The first comment I made. I couldn't believe it. And maybe why I was going toward the amazing Polly is because they've censored the crap out of that woman. And she knows more about the United States than most Americans do. And she's Canadian. It's kind of amazing to me. But maybe it was because there's like 7.5 billion of us. And I think that people have to, I hate to sound so cliche, but friends, neighbors, we need to all open our eyes and see what's coming down the pike. I listened to, I think, a 4 or 5 minute video short from her this morning about Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I'm killing the pronunciation. I think he wrote the Gulag Archipelago. And he was talking about how communism swept through Russia and became the Soviet Union. He says they were arresting a third of the entire population of a city, never to be heard from again. I mean, he said they had no idea that this is what was coming. He said, and how different things could have been if in the vestibules and hallways of homes and buildings, there were groups of people, good-hearted, good-minded people with pitchforks and knives and pokers and anything they had. And when the authorities came by with a list of people to arrest, they got their asses kicked badly. He says, then the henchmen for the regime that killed tens of millions of people would have a real fight on their hands. He says, but at the time, he says, none of us had any idea what we were about to experience.
So, in other words, don't take what you have
For
with
granted.
with a grain of salt.
Right.
For
And
granted.
freedom. Freedom is something that apparently in the third dimension will be taken away from you if you don't cherish it. He says, because if we had any idea what we were about to be faced with, he says, then you have no choice but to fight for your freedom or die. Because if you don't fight for your freedom and you just go along with the paddy wagon that takes you to the gulag, he says, you're dead anyway. He says they sent hundreds of thousands of people to prisons where they froze and starved to death, knowingly. He says, well, if you know that that's what's going to happen, then you stand and you fight for your freedom. So people.
Take your freedom very serious.
Take your freedom very seriously. Take the censorship that you think is a joke now or just an annoyance, and take that as it's the gateway to the boot on your neck of a tyrannical happenstance. You think it's a joke. You think it won't happen again? People, just look at history. Look at what's happened from the beginning of recorded history until now. It's been over and over and over and over again that people brutalize each other. Get serious, people.
Wow. That video, I also saw it as well, John, with the amazing Polly. And those words from that gentleman hit home. I mean, don't give an inch, like you were just saying. That somebody who gets censored and somebody who's gets taken off social media, that's the knock on the door. That's the knock on the door from somebody that's coming for your freedoms. And if you don't keep that door locked and protect your freedom with everything you have, then you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. And boy, I tell you what, I'd love to. I should have actually played that audio for people. I can't seem to kind of
Just,
find it now. Yeah,
as long as they look up the amazing Polly, they'll
Yep.
find it, correct?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that alone, that shout out alone should get her a few more listens to videos and views. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, isn't that what the people of Ukraine are fighting for right now? I mean, think about what they're going through. I mean, this big bad monster is at their doorstep and is taking everything. They keep finding mass graves, and people are sitting there and they're fighting. They're not running.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that,
I don't, to be honest with you, I've looked into the whole Ukrainian issue, and it doesn't surprise me that when you scratch the surface, you find this side and you find that side and you find that side and you find this side, and it's a multifaceted mess, and it's enough to give you pause. And once again, my dictum, I believe, is true, that when the mainstream media paints a picture and fills up a construction dump truck with that issue and backs it up and dumps it on top of you, when every single media outlet is saying the same exact thing, and the supermarkets are coercing you to donate to a particular side in that conflict, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I said, wait a minute, the political world and the media want us to believe that a particular religion is nothing but a murderous, psychopathic construct. There's something wrong there. I know the whole history of the major religions. I do. I've studied it. But it's not different than, the media had us hating the Soviets. Well, the newsreels had us hating the Nazis and the Japanese back in World War II. And then it had us hating the Koreans. Then it had us hating the North Vietnamese because they were different than the South Vietnamese. There was something in the water, I guess. Right? And then when that was kind of over and done with, the new boogeyman on the block was to hate the Islamic hordes that were just as liable to kill each other as they were to come here and kill you. I mean, that's what Hollywood was shoving down our throats. And isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that all these years later, our politicians and our universities have been obviously infiltrated by communists? Mm-hmm. And there is a very strong, large Nazi faction in the Ukraine who come right out and tell you that. You can find the videos on YouTube. So here we are, giving $16 billion, so says the big guy, 16 billion of our tax dollars to the Ukraine. That's the side that the Nazis are fighting on. I didn't make this up, people. Go look it up. And then the supermarkets want us to donate more. And the newsreels are all about, and let's get it straight. Let's get it straight. We're watching video clips of a convoy of Russian military vehicles getting decimated, that the Ukraine's kicking the Russians' asses. But then we hear the next night of the atrocities that the Russians are committing. You know what? Stop believing the news. Turn the goddamn news off. Turn the goddamn news off, because you're never going to get the truth. Do I profess to know the whole truth, nothing but the truth? How could I? How could I? I'm one guy here in the United States. All I can tell you is the truth isn't what the mainstream media is shoving down your throat. And the one thing that sticks in my craw worse than anything is, ostensibly, the Nazi faction in the Ukraine will tell you who they are. Yes, we are Nazis. And we're supposed to be donating to the Nazis. Scratch your head over that, people. You don't believe me? You think I'm out of my mind? Why don't you take 15 minutes and look it up, and then you can come back and leave a comment in a subsequent under this episode. Leave a comment.
We really, as consumers, we really shouldn't be able to make judgments or have a judgment, especially like you said, on something that's going on the other side of the planet, because we don't. All they're telling us is just the surface stuff. A bomb dropped here, a bomb dropped there. Like the inner workings of what the real conflict is, we have no idea.
Right.
What the real reason for anything happening, what type of person is there with Nazis? We have no idea what's going on. But right away, we're supposed to give billions and donate it to cash register as well.
Let me just give a little perspective on the shit that we're hearing about the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Right. The same media system that's inundating us with a particular message, right? Trying to brainwash us. These people are all in on MK Ultra. they're all in on the intel services brainwashing individual people and the entire world. Yes, they can do that. Look it up, MK Ultra. But think about it. How badly has this COVID bullshit thing been mishandled all over the world? Do you really believe you know the truth? Do you know the truth about where the virus came from? Do you? Put it in the comments if you're so goddamn smart. Do you really believe that you know whether or not certain agencies and pharma companies were already working on the vaccines long before the outbreak? Like years before the outbreak, certain patents were already had? Right? Do you really know all about this? There are nefarious people on our planet that you can't fathom how they think. And I'm going to tell you why they're so goddamn evil. You know why? Because the ruling elite that lead us to perdition, which is death and destruction, listen to this, they have no souls. They have no souls. And the only place they reside is in the third dimension. And that's not a joke. They have no souls. Who would think to create a virus to try to wipe out tens of millions of people and then create some kind of phony bullshit antidote? But they create a system to report the adverse effects, and it's barely 10%. I know many, many people who have been horribly injured by the virus and by the antidote to the virus. We won't say that V word, will we? Because we'll come tumbling down off the internet. There's more to what's going on than what you think is true. And for God's sakes, if you're going to get on social media and you're going to quote a major media outlet, well, so-and-so from CNN says, well, so-and-so from Fox says, all you're doing is exposing just how big an idiot you really are. That's it. Look within, people. Look within.
Talk about the media and COVID. I mean, I've never seen such confusion distributed in my life on a very important topic.
Yeah.
I mean, we had people, we had states doing different things. There's different countries doing different things. I mean, who does it affect? Nobody knew the answers. The person in charge was flip-flopping and changing his mind every single time you talk to him. But yet, what did we have up there in the corner of that television set? We had the death count. I've never seen anything with a death count in my life. And look at what it is today. Right. I mean, it was ridiculous. The amount of confusion from lack of facts, lack of a goal, lack of, I don't know what you would call it, John. Just misleading everybody.
Right, right. So draw your own conclusions. But, you can't do that if your conclusions are based upon what you hear in the media. Because I promise you, friends, you're being viciously lied to by the media. And you know where people go to for their news? They go to the town square. They go to, I don't want to say the church, but what are all those things today? They go to the internet. They go to social media platforms. They go to YouTube videos. They go to Rumble videos. They go to BitChute videos. They go to videos. They go anywhere where the mainstream media isn't. And I can tell you right now, I have a little secret desire, a secret hope. I hope and pray, and I'm not kidding. I'm not sounding like a mainstream media talking head. There's some calamity and they say, well, our thoughts and prayers are with the victim. No, they're not. They're full of shit. They're lying to you. But my thoughts and my prayers truly are to live to see the destruction, the complete and total destruction of the mainstream media. All of it.
When can they be held accountable, John? When? I mean, there has to be some way some reason to stop spewing all this nonsense. I mean, and just be for the people.
Well,
I mean,
when are they going to be held accountable? I'll tell you what. This is just me opining. This is my opinion. The world will change. Humanity will change. And I've said this before. When enough of these ugly, ugly people die off one way or another, they're going to just, nobody lives forever. And nobody lives in their skin forever. Let me be clear. They're going to die off, and they're going to move off the earth plane. They're going to move out of the third dimension. And then, by the will of God, the young crystal and star seeds and the rainbow children are going to come in who have more sense. They have more of a universal galactic sense about them. I did say galactic, and that's something for a future episode. But you know what's going to happen? It's going to be, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Because I don't see the agents of change in humanity, the star seeds, the rainbow children, the crystal children, I don't see them coming to wreak havoc and revenge. No, I think that the dictum there is that if you seek revenge, dig two holes, dig two graves, one for your assailant or your opponent and one for yourself. So probably the people that have pulled all this off, what we're going to see when we see arrests and indictments and convictions, we're going to see low-lying people, the people in the outer ripples, right? We're never going to see, I don't think we're going to see any real big cats that hundreds of millions of people want to see go down in flames. I won't believe that until I see it. I just won't. I just think that there's going to be a change. And I think that to bring about that change, it's going to be a slow, infiltrated process. And I think that big, fat, ugly, evil cats that are out there that are perpetrating this whole New World Order, Great Reset thing, I think they're going to be cutting deals. They're going to be singing like canaries when they realize that the jig is up. They have a choice. They have a choice to go down with the ship or to cooperate. And when they cooperate, they'll go back to their lives, but in a different fashion. And we're never going to know. We're never going to know who perpetrated what at a really, really high, grand level. I don't think we're going to be allowed to know that. That's my suspicion.
some lower level will take the hit or take the fall.
Of course.
They'll throw
That's
somebody out
how it
there.
always is. That's how it always
That's
is, right?
amazing. I mean, when you know somebody's in front of a television camera, whether it's the media, whether it's a politician, whoever it is, and you know they're lying to you. You know what they're saying just isn't true. I mean, isn't that a psychopath? I mean, whether
Of course.
especially if it's
Of course.
especially if it's a politician, because he's supposed to his responsibility is supposed to be to guide us. It's not supposed to be because of one agenda or another agenda. I mean, when I see people on TV and you know they're lying to you, and he knows that you know he's lying to you.
Right.
I mean, that's not normal, and we've made it normal. Like, oh,
Well, let me say this to you. If you get a good-hearted soul who thinks empathically, the person who is here on this planet, the person that incarnated to be in service to others instead of in service to themselves, what are the chances that that person is going to rise to a high level in the political world? The answer is it ain't going to happen. Just think about it. It's just generally not possible. It's just not. It's like asking a droplet of oil to be poured into water and have it sink dead to the bottom. It goes against its nature. So I don't really see that happening.
well, I'd like to get into that in a future podcast, John.
Yeah, you want to turn it around?
Please turn it around for us. I mean, we went into some pretty
Okay.
heavy stuff.
Yeah, look, you know what? Finger roll. Yeah, the John Gallucci finger roll.
There it is.
We are in a time of transition, my friends. We are. And this is the moment that you should know. Like Alexander Solzhenitsyn, I know I killed his pronunciation, has said, if we only knew what was about to befall us, we would have met those authoritative tyrannical squads with equal and even greater fervor and fury. And we would have beaten them down just by the numbers. They would have won if they knew that they would be in a fight for their lives. I'm telling you now, we're in a transition period. Humanity all over the world, not just in the United States, not just in Australia, where the population is having the shit beat out of it by the Australian police, and now the police in Australia are trying to walk it back. Oh, they got the public relations campaign about how we're on the side of the citizens. Bullshit. Bullshit. No, you're not. You ugly prison guards. That's what you are. And for the Prime Minister north of our border in Canada, how dare you? How dare you, son of Fidel, lauding the communist dictatorship in China. And that video is right on YouTube. You fool. People, I'm telling you, if you don't get your head around this, get your hearts around it, pray and meditate, and don't let this get any further down the line. That's it. When you think that something's not right and you know that gut instinct in you says this isn't right, what's happening here, don't be complicit with the lie, the great lie. This, boing, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, is a lie. Don't do it. Look it up. It's a lie. Just saying. Anyway, I can go on and on and on. Bottom line, people, the earth and humanity's in a transition. We're about to either be enslaved by tyranny or break out through the fourth and into the fifth dimension. That is not a joke, my friends. God bless you all. Phil, God bless you.
Great job. Great job.
Bones, God bless you, and God bless Russell Means. And, can't wait to see you again on the next episode of The Gypsy King.
Yay. Awesome. Great job, everybody. If you like what we're doing, follow us on YouTube, soon to be Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok. I believe we're going to hit them all.
We are.
The Jersey Alchemist.
See you again on The Jersey Alchemist. Bones got on my head about Tyson Fury, and he may have retired, but we're not. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.